Hi, it's Jack Noke, Jack in the Attic. Feels good to do my intro again after weeks of vlogging. I'm back from Tour de Fleece, which is when I do my most frequent and most informal vlogging. It's the most videos I put out in a row every year. That doesn't make any sense. July is the month when I post the most videos because of Tour de Fleece, but they're different from all my other videos. So if you didn't watch them but you're here now, we're gonna go over everything that you missed as far as spinning, and we're going to talk about where I'm at on my projects. First of all, I have all the yarn I spun in this basket here. It's a lot of yarn. I wrote down all of the measurements, the weight and the yardage, weight as in grams, and the yardage to calculate the yarn weight. And the website I used, I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I will link it in the description for calculating the yarn weight. So that's all according to them. I see some discrepancies in yarn weights between brands, between calculators, so I'm just sticking to one, and that's it. I would love to share these in the order I spun them, but honestly, I kind of already forgot. So I'm just going to reach in and grab something, and we'll talk about that one. And the first thing I see that I want to talk about is the white Polwarth. At the beginning of this process, I found a cake of unplied white Polwarth, and that turned into this. I only plied it during this Tour de Fleece. I did not actually spin it, but that's fine with me. I kind of count anything I work on at all. So this one, this is a 2-ply. It ended up being 98 grams and 514 yards, making it in between a lace weight and fingering weight. I think this one is closer to fingering weight, but when I did like a reps per inch test, it compresses so much that I kept getting lace weight. So I'm calling this light fingering. And I also put this one back through the e-spinner to add more twist because I was too impatient the first time. Here's what we're working with. I think light fingering sounds pretty accurate. The second one spun and plied during TDF. This one I have not completely wet finished yet. I have only steamed it, so there are some little curly bits. But that's okay. I know those will wash out. This one is 70 grams. This was all that was left of the Polwarth I have been kind of collecting. 70 grams, 496 yards. This one is solidly lace weight. I wish I had more consistent results to share, but this one is solidly lace weight. I do have 2 other hanks of this same Polwarth that I spun here and here. These are also lace to light fingering. I don't know how I ended up with 4 hanks. This is 3 4-ounce braids split into 4 hanks. I don't know what happened. Now, what am I going to make with these? I have no clue. What would you make with approximately 3 100-gram skeins of light fingering to lace weight yarn? I will absolutely end up dyeing this, but I have no idea what to do with it. I really don't work with lace weight too terribly often unless I'm holding it with something else. I have been really into some Park Williams designs that use, I think, lace weight. I'm assuming because they're so like light and sheer and kind of diaphanous and flowy. Maybe this could end up being one of those. Something like that. Moving on to the next yarn. I see another yarn that I finished spinning this year, even though I started it last year. So last year I spun this one hank of dark brown Corriedale, and that one, I didn't count this in my totals, obviously. That one was 197 yards, 107 grams, Aran weight. I was just trying to match this with the second half, and I did. Here's the second one. Oh, thank you, lighting. That was very nice. The second one, 214 yards, 114 grams, also Aran weight. So that worked out really well. I was afraid I had completely forgotten what I did in the first one and wasn't going to be able to match it, but it really worked out. I also have no idea what I'm going to do with this. My first thought when I began spinning this last year was perhaps a felted bag. I had never felted anything, now I have. I do like brown and black together quite a bit, and I have been adding more brown to my wardrobe over the last couple of years, but I don't know if it's going to be too brown to go with my outfits, which sounds so silly when I say it out loud, so maybe that answers that. Maybe that's what I should make. This was also my first time spinning Corriedale. Well, my first and second time. You get it. Up next, this was another wool that was brand new to me. I spun this purple and gray Targhee. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I had no idea Targhee was like this. It's so stretchy, it's so bouncy. It turns out I really like Targhee. Really had no idea. Such a pleasant spin. I did a lot of pre-drafting, otherwise I don't know that it would have been as pleasant. But oh boy, I loved this. This was fun. Oh, everything I've shown you so far has been a 2-ply. I should be saying that as I go. The Targhee is a 3-ply. Ooh. 3-ply, 322 yards, 116 grams. This ended up being DK. I spent a lot of 2-ply DK, so to get a 3-ply DK, I'm very happy with. Also, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I feel like it should be a hat. It just feels like hat to me. I could be wrong, just because it's so squishy and cozy. And I don't have any purple beanies. This is up there with best yarns I've spun. Let's talk about my cotton experiments. So I had purchased some Egyptian cotton and then got worried it would be too difficult to spin because I started watching tutorials and everyone was basically like, you're either gonna love this or hate this. And I do. I do love it or hate it. Both. Both, I think. So I started spinning just right out of the package, no preparation really. I did start spinning from the fold. I heard that that could be a little easier, and I kind of had a rough time. I didn't really enjoy it so much, so I just left it on the bobbin and I didn't do anything with it. Then Tour de Fleece came and I decided to get it off the bobbin, just ply it, just finish it and see what happens. And that is what gave me this gray cotton. It turned out a lot nicer than I expected. I'm actually not unhappy with this. It's a very small amount. This is only 24 grams. It's 70 yards, so this is also DK. What do I do with 24 grams of DK cotton? I have no idea. I had the idea to blend, because I bought 3 colors. I got gray, black, and red. I had the idea to blend some of the gray and black together to make a color I would like more. But I only have dog brushes for blending. I don't have a blending board. I would love to get a blending board, but they're just so I have so many objects and I'm sick of it. So to add another object to my home, I have to be really, really convinced. And spending hours with my dog brushes actually might convince me. I'm chasing the light. It is a very dark, rainy day. So if I move the camera several times, don't worry about it. Blended all of the rest of the gray cotton with what I thought was half of the black cotton and made little cotton rolags. There are other preparations of cotton that are more densely rolled, and I didn't do that because I didn't know it existed at the time, so I am still calling these roll eggs because I think that's what's closest. But I ended up with something I'm actually really happy with. This gray and black blended 2-ply, 204 yards, 45 grams. This ended up being fingering weight, which is great. Very happy with that. But it does mean I can't just throw these together. Once I started using the Rolex, it became very difficult to spin this any thicker than just a little wisp of yarn. So, if you want to spin cotton thinner, I recommend spending hours brushing it with dog brushes and getting cotton everywhere. And no, I don't know that I actually recommend this. I recommend asking someone who knows something and not me. Will I spin cotton again? Yes, 100%. Yes. In fact, I did spin cotton again, which I guess we'll go ahead and talk about. So each of the colors that I purchased of the Egyptian cotton was 2 ounces. 2 ounces ends up being, well, like 56 grams, something like that. So if I had actually used half of the black with the rest of the gray, I should only have an ounce of black left to blend with the red, the 2 ounces of red, 3 ounces total. How did I end up with a 95 grams gain? I must have used barely any of that black, or I received a lot more than I thought I did. And I didn't weigh it when I received it, so I have no clue. I have no way of knowing. Anyway, I spent hours upon hours blending this red and black cotton together, and it paid off. It paid off. I would do it again. I'm so pleased. Lighting, hello. It's beautiful. It's so soft. Again, 95 grams, 466 yards. This is a fingering weight cotton. That does mean these two can go together. I think that would become something nice. 140 grams together of fingering weight cotton. That could be something. I don't know what, but something. I really like working with plant fibers. So I've really wanted to get into spinning plant fibers so that I can spin and then use the yarn. What the same reason anyone spins anything. I wanted to get into spinning plant fibers. I was intimidated by the process. I jumped into it anyway. Everything went fine. Is that the lesson here? I think that's the lesson here. There are tank tops I have in mind. It would have to be pretty cropped, I think, but it seems possible. It seems possible. I'll have to look up some patterns. Moving on to, this is actually the last thing I spun. I had in my possession for probably a year and a half some alpaca blend. I did not keep the card that had the actual blend information on it, and in the video where I talked about obtaining this alpaca blend, I did not disclose what the blend was, so I just don't know. I assume it's an alpaca merino blend. I had another pack of fiber that I bought from the same vendor that was, I believe, alpaca, merino, and some bamboo. And I'm pretty sure only one of them had bamboo. Anyway, I took this alpaca, I spun it as chunky as I possibly could, and then I plied it with bamboo to make this really textured yarn. I think it's not technically boucle. I think I would have to ply it again to make it boucle, but it's something. I like the color. I do like the texture. This ended up being 157 grams because of the added, I applied it with a yarn that already exists. So it added weight that I didn't necessarily earn, but I can't undo that. 157 grams, 210 yards. It's telling me Aran weight. It feels chunkier than that, but maybe some pieces. I think it's definitely thinner in some spots. This was my first time doing any sort of substantial amount of this type of spinning. I don't even know what to call this. Plying something with existing yarn. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It was kind of fiddly to do the plying process just because I jumped into it without any prior research, not really knowing what was going on. But again, I think it worked out. This one is also saying hat. I kind of think everything should be a hat, but there's no reason this wouldn't make a nice fluffy winter hat. I don't have any other ideas at the moment. Before I get into some of the yarns I'm extremely proud of, I do have to talk about Frosty. I spun this. I did not ply it because the spinning process threw so much VM onto me and my furniture and my floor and the cat. So much VM that I couldn't stand to look at it. And I wanted to be done. So I spun through all of it. There isn't any more left to spin. This is all of it, but I have not plied it. All I can tell you is it's 105 grams. I have no idea what the yardage is. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I should ply it. I don't intend to let it go to waste. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. The wool itself, I'm not mad at. It feels good. It is really soft, squishy, bouncy. I'll flip this around. It's a really cool blend of different fibers, different sheep, but it was just unpleasant. It was so much VM. I don't think the disclaimer's needed, but so much VM for a bat, for a prepared fiber, for something not straight from a farm. Scary spin. Scary spin did not enjoy. And if we're being so honest, I'm not going to think about it again until next Tour de Fleece. I have extra bobbins. That one can just sit for a while and I'll figure something out. The last three in this basket, I am particularly proud of for various reasons. I'll start with the least exciting. Probably the least exciting. Someone is going to find this the most exciting. This is a blend of bamboo and ramie. It's got a little bit of sheen to it. I have artificial lighting as backup. Let me see if I can. It has, there we go, subtle sheen to it. It's very drapey, you can tell. And I'm so happy that I get to work with this in a project. So I bought, okay, very, very drapey plant fiber. I bought 8 ounces of bamboo, 8 ounces of ramie from Walnut Farm, probably, having never spun either. Little bits of bamboo in blends, but never straight up bamboo. I had no idea that when I received the bamboo, I was going to reach into the bag and physically recoil because I cannot stand to touch it. It feels so dry and gross on my hands. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So the thought to blend these came to mind, and then the thought that that would take hours and hours and hours also came to mind, and then no alternative came to mind, so I did it anyway. This is my perfect child, the light of my life. 50% ramie, 50% bamboo, 2-ply, 414 yards, 79 grams, fingering weight. It's Walnut Farm Designs. I have this much left. It's both of the fibers crammed together in one bag, but I have this much left. You know, like a gallon of bamboo and ramie. Not really a gallon, but a large amount. I can make so much more of this, and I can make a full-size garment, something like 16 ounces, that's like 4 full skeins. What am I going to make out of 16 ounces of probably more fingering weight ramie and bamboo? It's so like slinky. So I don't have any ideas yet, only because I have so much left of it to spin. This is another fiber that once I processed it, I guess, blended it together into these little tiny baby roll eggs, it became very difficult to spin anything thicker than this. It wants to spin very thin. I just let it happen. The only thing I did not like about the process, other than the amount of time it takes, is that the bamboo gets everywhere. Everywhere. I'm still finding it. I haven't worked with this fiber in a couple weeks at this point, and I'm still finding just little bits of bamboo on my clothes, on my dish towels, things that have been washed since then, by the way. It's everywhere, and I think it's going to be everywhere for a while. Using the Rami to kind of, first of all, make it tolerable to touch. That worked. But using the Rami to kind of hold it all together, the Rami is a much longer staple length than the bamboo. Really worked out. Came up with a yarn that I am very happy with. It feels really nice. This was a leap of faith for me, and it paid off. Speaking of leaps of faith, I dyed an 8-ounce undyed braid of superwash BFL. The dyeing process I recorded and it was in a vlog. Scary. Scary to watch. Did not look like it was going to turn out super well. I had a plan. Things did not go to plan, but they also didn't go badly. They went well. I'll put a picture up of what the dyed braid looks like pre-spinning. And I have such a hard time conceptualizing what fiber is going to look like once it's spun, color-wise. Some people probably have figured out how to predict that. I'm not one of them. I have no clue what's going on. How did it turn into this? Like, for real, how did it turn into this? It's kind of sick. It's kind of awesome. There are little teeny tiny bits of green hidden throughout. Surprised and pleased. This is a 3-ply. 402 yards, 233 grams. Allegedly Aran weight. It looks pretty worsted to me. I believe I was in a purple mood for all of July. This is maybe not my most consistent yarn because I'm seeing little bits that I think are definitely closer to DK and some that are pretty worsted looking. I don't know. But I know the more plies you add, the more opportunity it has to be consistent. Doesn't necessarily make it more consistent, but more opportunity. So this is the equivalent of 2 skeins of yarn, and it's so purple, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with this one. I don't even have what would be really convenient for me right now. I don't even have a purple person in my life. And if you do have one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have one. Otherwise, I would, just make something for that person out of this. I don't have a purple person. I have to kind of be my own purple person, which I'm obviously not, but I really I feel like I understand purple people. I get it. I don't think I'll ever become a purple person. I think I am leaning green person. But if you are a purple person, I love you and I respect you. So that one, I'm taking suggestions because I look at it and nothing comes to mind other than, wow, fun. I had a good time. I had a fun time spinning that. Projects? Literally nothing comes to my mind. This last one is a gift spin, so if you're my sister, stop. Log off. This is another one of maybe my best spins of all time, and it looks so cool. So this is 4 ounces of elegant eggplant, BFL, and I already forgot how to pronounce this, little sparkly nylon bits called Triloball, maybe? Triloball? Something like that. Plied with solid black BFL. Elegant Eggplant is a colorway from Friends in Fiber, the equivalent of 2 skeins. It's a 2-ply. It's 565 yards, 221 grams, worsted weight. Some of the sickest yarn I've ever spun. How amazing. You gotta get into picking a really fun colorway and plying it with black. It turns out awesome every time. You gotta get into it if you're not already doing this. It's just it's so good. I have very little to say other than it's so good. So that's everything. That's all I spun. It was a lot, honestly. My totals 1,357 grams of yarn. Again, that's not counting the one hank of brown Corriedale that I have on this list for comparison purposes, but it does include probably like 44 grams of the already existing bamboo yarn that I plied this with, but that's the total 1,356 grams. Yardage, this is going to exclude the frosty that I did not ply, but plied yardage 3,877 yards. So, how does this compare with last year? I have no idea. Purely vibes based, I think I spun more this year and I didn't even mean to. I meant to kind of chill out. I didn't. I am incapable of doing that. That is my Tour de Fleece wrap up. Let's talk about the other projects I've been working on. First of all, I finished my crochet Vera top. It is in the dryer and I'm not going to go get it. I'm going to show you pictures instead. So this is a pattern test. The pattern has not come out quite yet. I will update the description with a link to the pattern when it does actually come out. I did show the process of me making this in my TDF vlogs. Here it is finished. It should be coming out early next week. This was fun. This really got me back into the crochet mood. I want to start another crochet project right now. I even got on Ravelry and started looking through crochet projects. I don't want this to come across shady to crochet designers. That's not it. I'm having trouble just browsing Ravelry and finding something I feel inspired by in the crochet realm. Maybe it's just because I've been out of the crochet world for a little while. I've been really focused on knitting, but now I want to crochet something. The other projects I'm working on, I always have a pair of socks going, basically to take with me to doctor's offices. I actually haven't had to do a ton of waiting in waiting rooms lately, so I don't have that much to show you, but I'm working on socks with my Showtime yarn from Wicked Fiber Co. It's working up so well. I'm really happy with the colorway. I fully intend to use up every bit of this yarn. I'm going to make these socks as long as possible, and that will include increasing for my powerful, powerful calves, which I'm happy to do. This is 1x1 rib. It's my design that I don't know what to call. The one I'm making a tutorial for. It's that pattern. And that is the next thing I'm starting, is the sock tutorial. I talked about this a little bit online, but I'll talk about it here too. I fear that because I showed the process of idea to first draft to second draft to testing this pattern on my own in different yarn weights, start to finish, because you have seen this already be a very long process, I fear some people may think that means the tutorial is near. It's not. It's also going to be a very long process to record and edit the tutorial. Tutorials take so much longer than anything else I do. It is beginning. It is in the works, but do not get too excited. I would love to do a full-on pattern test for this, but it's a video tutorial. I am not familiar with the pattern writing process. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't think I would be good enough at it to be doing all of that for a first time knitting tutorial. So those are my socks. That's all. A project I neglected completely through Tour de Fleece is my double knit bandana. There was another word in there. It's double knit colorwork bandana. I found a message from myself 2 days before Tour de Fleece started that said, I would like to finish the rabbits tonight. I finished the rabbits instead of July 2nd, 2 nights ago, July 30th. The rabbits are done. I still have the curling at the bottom because I made my edge selvage stitches too tight. I am actively loosening those up, and hopefully the rest blocks out. What a wild introduction to double knitting. What a choice. It's a beautiful pattern. It's going well. I feel really confident about double knit color work now in a way I super didn't for like this much of the project. But I'm feeling really good about it. I've even figured out how to more successfully fix my errors without tangling everything up and making it a worse mess. This is the thing I want to finish first. I want to finish this, and then I will swap this with probably my black and brown striped cardigan so that I can have that done for the end of summer, beginning of fall. Right? I think you can see it a little bit better even when I fold it. This little sparkle I'm not super happy with. It was an improvisation from me because I didn't like that there were so many hearts. It was supposed to be 2 little hearts and a big heart. And I thought, I don't want that. Not even realizing there's a sparkle in the pattern up here, and it's a better sparkle. So that was silly. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. It's little, and it doesn't look bad. I just don't love it. It's fine. Those are all of my updates. Looking at the length of this video, yeah, it better be all my updates. That was a lot of updates. I am going to take approximately 2 weeks off, and then I'll be back with, I think, a pattern compilation, one I've been sitting on for a while that I've been excited to do. If it ends up being something else, I'm sorry, but there is a pattern compilation in the next 1 to 3 videos at least. So I'm going to leave you with that, and don't forget, I haven't done my outro in over a month, don't forget to rest and take breaks and stretch and take care of your joints. But as always, go and live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time.